So would that be the same in Japan? Another island culture, kind of.
Well, it does. It is the same. And that's the way you prove things in history. You find another case which is similar, and then you check whether the effects are similar. Japan is the only other really balanced political system of a large kind in the world that I've come across. As I think I mentioned, Mark Bloch said it was the only other instance of a true centralized feudalism. That is a feudalism based on a strong king who delegates power down. Now, the Japanese political system has historically been very unusually balanced. There have been times when, as before the Second World War and so on, when it's become unbalanced. But usually, and another feature of the English and the Japanese system, which is similar, which is that they've split executive power from ritual power. For 500 years in Japan, you had the emperor in Kyoto, who was the ritual ruler, and you had the military ruler, the shogun, the head of the army in Tokyo, who was the military ruler. And they had an uneasy relationship. And finally, the emperor overtook and destroyed, and that was the Japanese Meiji Restoration in the 1860s. But basically, for centuries, there was this separation, and it is the separation everyone sees now in England. We have the Queen, who is theoretically above the government, and then you have her government. And those who I consider idiots who think that we should abolish the monarchy because it's a bit expensive or occasionally gets into trouble over its racial views or whatever it is. I mean, the benefit of having a separation between the ritual and the executive is recently been well shown by the history of America, because the president in America is both. And we saw where that nearly led with Donald Trump. And you get the same situation in France to a large extent. I mean, you have a president, but it's not nearly as divided. So this fictive, they're all fictions, but this fictive separation you find in Japan and you find in England. And so political power in Japan, but in Japan, they had just one last footnote, a very interesting system of balancing the power between the shogun and the very powerful local lords who are called daimyo, because the daimyo of some distant province in Japan could again become a threat, as the lords on the Scottish border were a threat, because they could get too powerful. And there was always this threat within feudalism. And the way in which the Japanese dealt with this was very cunning. They had a system whereby each of these lords, the lords of some remote province, Hokkaido or wherever it was, had to spend half of their time in the shogun's court in Tokyo. And during that time, if they caused any trouble, they and their family would be liquidated. And when they were not in court, some of their family were in the court. So there was an insurance policy that they would never get too...
Kind of like a hostage situation.
It was an absolute hostage. Everyone knew it was a hostage situation, yes.